Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jensen. I'm here in the corner. Woohoo! Hello. This is our splash page for our class this semester. So I promised you a video where I'd show you where to find everything and also go through the syllabus in a little bit more detail. So let's do that together. So again, here's the start menu where you would have found this video. And there's also a link for the syllabus, a list of modules, data sets. But essentially you can navigate to whatever week we're working on from the bottom of the page. You will notice in a 16-week semester that we only have 14 modules. That's because I leave you alone the last 2 weeks of the semester and really just let you work on your paper to get your final editing done and your drafting done so that way you have time to do a good job. Because I'd rather read really good papers than really crappy ones. So I've learned you don't need more lectures and assignments from me in the last 2 weeks of the semester. You need time. So I've learned to really back off and just let you work and open up my office hours for you so that I can help you during those last 2 weeks. So let's get started in one area that I just want to make sure we look at. This is the data sets area. So if you click on data sets, this is where you're going to find all the files for class. Now keep in mind that if you are using apps.ufl.edu, okay, and you are in SPSS. If you're using SPSS, these are all actually saved and ready to go on the R drive, okay? So you're already fine, you know, having all the files that you need, okay? So essentially, these files are here if you don't end up using the free version, okay? So if you go buy a software license for your own machine from onthehub.com and you need the files from class, these little tabs will show you all the files and all the links and you can download them from here, okay? You can also download them from the apps.ufl.edu website. It's a little bit more of a lengthy process. It's kind of easier just to get them from here. But these are the areas where we use most of our data, okay? If you ever find that there's a file or data that you need that you're not seeing here, please let me know and I can provide that to you. But these are the files for class. Most of what you need is already stored on the server, and I walk you through that in the lab video so you know where to go get it. But again, if you need to go find a standalone file for something you're working on just your desktop or your hard drive, then you come get it here. So I'm going to click back on Home, and that's the datasets area, just so you know it's there. Let's go to a module. So this is week 1, Introduction to Social Research and Statistics. So I give you a description of what we're going to be doing, and then you have your objectives, and then you just work left to right. You click on these tabs, readings, videos, assignments, and labs. So I don't have readings very often, but when I do, make sure you do them because they will make your assignments and labs a lot easier. Okay, so I'll usually have links to videos or documents that you're going to be using. And then in this section, the video section, this is really important. So you can see I have really kind of short and sweet videos that let you do learning in more bite-sized chunks. So I talk about qualitative research, quantitative research, and like you can kind of do part 1, part 2, and just go from top to bottom, one video after another, and do your videos. This is like going to class, is watching your videos. Okay, just keep in mind, this class has a lot of videos. This class has over 100 videos, but most of these videos are within like 4 to 7 minutes. They're YouTube length. So don't let that overwhelm you because most of them are pretty short. So you could do them during your lunch hour. Finally, when you're done with your learning, you can go to assignments and labs, and you can complete any assignments or labs I have here. And I usually have a video link that will give you step-by-step help with lab 1. Don't try to do these labs by yourself. Make sure you're clicking on links that are right there in the tab that tell you where to get your file, how to open it, where the menus are, and some of the things you want to do. And I give you lots of hints and tips and tricks in these videos. So that's essentially how you're going to go through a week, and it shows you here's the lab. So you're going to work in the lab, and so you can preview it, and then you'll have to have, again, multiple screens to kind of navigate through this. So that's why I recommend putting Jensen on your phone and using your screen for your SPSS work or submitting your lab. Okay? So that's essentially a module. That's how it works. I'm going to go back home again, and we're going to look through the syllabus just so you kind of have a little bit more organization to the class. Yes, I know my class has Miami Dolphins colors. I did not choose the color scheme, I promise. Which, you know, I don't take issue with Miami Dolphins, but I just think it's funny that it's very turquoisey and orange. This is the syllabus. Again, it just reiterates my office hours, my contact info. Here is that Google Voice number that you can call and text me if you need my help. And sometimes it's like you can send me a text to say, hey, would you be available for a phone call later today or maybe something after dinner? I really need your help with something, and I'll try to get back to you quickly. Okay, so here is the course summary. It shows you everything we're doing and when it's due. But largely speaking, we work Monday through Sunday. So we start a week on a Monday and everything is due by Sunday night after that. So that's what you want to plan on. You can see most of these due dates are Sundays because I know UF Online students work during the week and sometimes the only available time they have to get an assignment done is on the weekends. So I give you the full weekend to get it done. But let's look at the syllabus. All right, it's loading. So here's our syllabus, and I'm actually going to zoom down just a little bit to make it fit in our screen a little bit better. There we go. So I'm not going to read the fine print because you can certainly do this later on your own, but you have your course description, you have, you know, what are we going to be doing in this class? We're going to be learning about research and doing a lot of stats. Again, those virtual office hours, 10 to 1 daily, again, because I want to make sure I have room for someone that wants to work over lunch hour, that's fine. We can do Zoom calls. You can share your screen with me. You can show me your variables. You can show me your paper. You can show me your lab and say, this is where I'm stuck. So Zoom could be really helpful because sharing screens lets me see your challenge a little more clearly, and I can also see any errors that you get, and we can troubleshoot those together. Okay? I largely do not work on campus. I am also remote, just like you are. So I live very far away from Gainesville. You will not usually find me in Gainesville, so don't go trying to hunt me down in Turlington Hall. I do have an office in Turlington Hall, but I'm not there very often. So again, use my Google Voice number to reach out to me, and we can meet via Zoom, and we can email and text and talk and whatever you want to do. This is my bio, which is also available in the course site, and tells you a little bit about me. This is the software. Again, you can use version 26 or higher. They've just purchased 27. I didn't know that the university was going to purchase 27, or I would have shown you 27. There is a 28 out there. Again, any of those will work. They don't really change the software that much. They just release new versions and licenses over time. So no textbook. You can use apps.ufl.edu, or you can go purchase your own copy. That's a 6-month license or a 12-month license on the hub. So these are the course and learning objectives. Again, not going to go through this in detail, but just realize the world is full of research and statistics, and we need to become research literate in order to perform and interpret basic things about the world. And so this class is really kind of the epitome of how we learn about criminal behavior in our major, is by doing research. Okay? This gives you a sense of assignments and labs. Almost every week of the semester, you're going to complete out-of-class assignments and labs. This is not to torture you, but to keep you active and engaged in learning. So this is a steady upward course. This class gives you something to do every week, so you will have work that you're doing regularly. It's basically your training and practice, because you're going to learn all the functions you're going to run, and then you're basically going to get your own data at the end of the semester, and you're going to run all those functions on your topics and your data. So I tell people, don't fake your way through this, because you really can't fake this paper. It's impossible, because it's an original topic and original research. And if you don't know how to do the functions because you didn't do the labs, you're not going to know how to do the paper. So they really prepare you for the paper. So that way you already know how to recode variables. You already know what a coefficient is. You already know how to interpret R squared because you did it in the labs. So make sure that you are very diligent at getting those labs and assignments done, because they're going to help prepare and build that final paper for class. So it's not just learn how to do this for learning's sake. It's learn how to do this because it's essential, because you won't know how to do it on your own variables if you didn't actually practice it. We don't have any quizzes or exams. Although I do kind of a quick little pre-quiz just to see what you remember about your stats class that you took a while ago. So don't worry too much about that. That's about it as far as quizzes and exams. Other than that, we're doing labs and we're writing a big paper. And we're doing small section assignments to help build your paper. That's pretty much the class. There's the final research paper. It shows you the sections and how they work. Watch every video, just like I said in the syllabus video, because you can rewatch them. If there's a skill that you're like, ooh, we learned how to do that in Lab 6, and I actually need to do that in my final paper, but I can't remember how. If I go back to Lab 6 and watch it, that'll give me a quick refresher so that way I can be able to do that on my variables. So I keep these videos parked because you might have to rewatch them to remember how to do something. So they will save you a lot of time and stress to kind of have portable learning available to you. I do require that you do an anti-plagiarism assignment. That happens much later on in the course so that we make sure that we aren't doing anything academically dishonest. But here's the course pacing in the modules. So we do about a module a week, and it'll tell you approximately what week we're going to be doing which module. And look, formatting, revisions, and career stuff at the very end of the class. Wrapping up research, conclusions, so we're kind of just finishing up. Again, you would have finished most of what you need to do by, hopefully, just before Thanksgiving. That's really my goal, is to get people done or really close to being done by Thanksgiving, because we really only have about a little over a week or so left of classes by the time Thanksgiving break is over. And some people use Thanksgiving break to get caught up or really get their paper done. That's very common in fall semesters, so feel free to do that. Again, almost all assignments are due on Sundays by midnight, 11:59 p.m. before it becomes Monday, and when possible, you may work ahead, especially if you know you're going to travel or you have some schedule disruptions and some things coming up and you want to try to get your stuff done early. You absolutely can do that. This is the grading scheme that I use. So your labs are about 16% of your grade, your research paper projects are 20%, and wham, look at this. 64% of your grade is your research paper. Okay, this is more of a department requirement than it is a Jensen requirement. It's supposed to be kind of an all intents and purposes paper to pull all your skills together. So it's meant to be worth a substantial part of your grade. It's considered a high stakes class with a big paper at the end. So I tell people up front, this is the biggest part of your grade. However, these other two parts do matter, right? You want to do well on the labs and the projects because they're going to help you be successful in the paper. And they give you a little bit of a buffer, usually at least about a half-letter grade or more, to do well in the class. Again, this is a writing requirement class for the Gordon rule. And these are some links that you can reference on current UF grading policies. These are my course policies. Is that a cool keyboard or what? That is freaking cool. That is not my keyboard, but I wish it was. Just make sure you use the course website. I've already supplied the materials, the software, no textbook. Make sure you use good security practices with your password, and there's help desk information there when you get stuck, if you have system stuff that's not quite working as well for you. Use good netiquette, right? So, try to think through what you send before you send it. Again, just some tips on that. Student rights and responsibilities. If you need academic accommodations, please reach out early, and I can put those accommodations in place. Attendance policy. Again, obviously in an online course, there's really no regular class roll, but you need active participation. And I do look at your activity log in analytics. I can see what things you're clicking on and what things you are not clicking on. It's very easy for me to figure out. So be very honest about, Jensen, I'm behind. And this is where I left off. Okay, well, let's get you caught up. Let's figure this out. These are campus resources that are at your disposal with health and wellness, counseling, career connections, tutoring, the writing studio, library support, recovery services, police department, all the usual stuff that you see each semester. Again, this is student accommodations. If you need any learning accommodations for this class, but you have to contact me really early so we can get that in place for you. Course technology, of course, we're going to be using the help desk and e-learning. Keep the help desk programmed in your phone. If you haven't done that by now, you should. I try to use good discretion if I allow for makeup work and looking at reasonable kind of university recognized absences or delays, especially with COVID going on. We have to think about that. Of course, we use course evaluations. and our critical thinking outcomes that we're after. This last page is Zoom. So again, just use appropriate Zoom behavior, and this describes that behavior in more detail. Again, I'm not going to go through this in word-for-word format, but it is here, so make sure your computer's charged. I do like to see students on their camera, so please be dressed properly, not falling right out of bed. Be attentive, actively participate, keep yourself on mute if you're not actively speaking, and use good judgment as far as your background, sharing links with others and stuff like that. Okay, last page. This is apps.ufl.edu. Again, we kind of saw a little bit of this in the earlier video. Again, it does fine with Firefox or Chrome. I've had a little more success lately with Chrome, so that's something to keep in mind. And your login screen will look like this, and all files can be saved to the M drive, or what we call permanent student file storage. So there is a place for you to save your work, whether you're doing a lab or working on stuff for your paper, every night. You can save it there and it will stay there the whole semester. So don't save it to wherever you're at on the server. It will get wiped, it will be deleted, and it will be gone, and that's when you cry because you just lost a lot of work. Okay, that's essentially the syllabus. Down here, this is just kind of a reproduction of the course schedule if you kind of want it in a document format. If you're a person that likes to check boxes or cross things off as we go, that's available for you as well. And you can see final paper December 12th. So you know on the first day of class, that's when that big paper comes in. Okay? So that is the syllabus. I'm going to go back to our class. Give me one moment. Okay, we're back. So again, here's the splash page. If you have questions, please reach out, and just realize that this semester, as we're all still battling a pandemic and trying to figure stuff out, that we're just going to have to be flexible and patient, and there are times where I can probably accommodate you relatively well and times where I might not be able to do that. So we'll just have to be as reasonable as we can with things out of our control, right? So we'll do what we can do. Reach out with questions. Don't forget you can call me, you can text me, and I'll see you later on this week in week 1. I'll send some announcements out reminding you about deadlines and due dates, and have a great semester. I hope to get to talk to you soon on the phone. Bye-bye.